It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
It's Steph Beckett.
And Gary Kay, and it is time for rAVe TV. The industry's only live weekly TV show comes on every Wednesday morning, as you probably know by now, 9 a.m. That way we're coming in the UK right now. It is 2 p.m. and in the Olympics, it is 3 p.m. So yeah, it's we come to you live on ravepubs.com, on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and this is a live TV show that's kind of all about AV. A lot of commercial AV, some high-end residential AV. As we move closer to CEDIA, which we'll talk about in just a second, we'll probably start doing more residential products because that's the time when a lot of those get introduced. But Steph, I got a question for you. Have you been watching the Olympics at all?
So I was really tuned in for gymnastics and have not been as tuned in for everything else because gymnastics are my favorite. So last week I was like in the office streaming it for everyone to watch because I was like, no, you guys, men's gymnastics is really good this year. And then they won bronze. So it was,
Well, obviously we're fans of the U.S. because we are here in the U.S., but it's been cool to watch some of the countries that have never won medals before medal in this year's Olympics. I think that I read recently that there were 6 different countries that had never won an Olympic medal that have won medals at this year's Olympic. And there's been some like individual kind of superstars that have sort of stood out that that have been, that become sort of internet famous. One of those is a women's rugby player. I don't know if you've been watching her or seeing her on LinkedIn. All she cares about is getting sponsored by Lego. She builds Legos all day long. She won her first Olympic medal. And before she got to the Olympics, for 3 years before, she's been doing these like videos about how she's just obsessed with Lego. And then most recent one, she's like, I won a medal. Can't you give me some kind of Lego? Can't you reach out to me? And I was reading online that Legos can't reach, none of the companies can reach out to any of the athletes until the Olympics closes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she'll get reached out to them because she has literally hundreds, if not more, videos begging Legos to pay attention to her. But once you win a medal like that, and she has a really good personality.
Yeah, she's so funny. That's what like really made her stand out to me. There's like someone else who was another standout to me because there was someone in the Olympics who just all they were putting TikToks of were the muffins in the Olympic Village.
The muffins?
This man was not posting
anything. The muffins in France are good.
Yeah, this man was not posting anything about anything. Oh, Norwegian swimmer, Henrik Christensen.
Okay, there you go.
Apparently was not making any social media content about Olympic swimming. He made like 15 or 20 TikToks about the chocolate muffins in the Olympic Village. So he's another like standout to me that's just like beloved on the internet now because he was so funny.
Yeah, and the gymnast who was meditating before he did his routine, he's gotten really popular. It's been fun to watch. It's also been interesting to watch the lack of technology at the Olympics. That does not appear to be as much as I would have thought. And maybe it's the intimacy of the venues that they don't need as much as they did in some of the larger venues, right? I mean, I've noticed that a lot of the venues are a lot smaller, more compact, sort of more intimate than some of the others. Of course, the opening ceremonies had a tremendous number of LEDs all over the place for those that were watching it live along the River Seine. But
aren't people like mad about the opening ceremony?
I think they're upset because, I mean, let's face it, it was raining, right? So you had to sit out in the rain for 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
Some of the content, as an example, Lady Gaga who performed?
Lady Gaga and
she was not live.
Celine Dion.
So what ends up happening is we're watching it, and it looks like they're cutting to her doing this live thing, but in reality, the people that are there live are not seeing her live where she was supposed to be. It was an earlier recorded thing, and they replayed it for those. So it was stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think the separation between the boats, like normally the athletes march out, and it's done over the course of like 45 minutes. Well, it was
Yeah.
like 3-hour march because he had
Oh,
boat after boat after boat, and
yeah.
they weren't back to back to back. They were quite separated. So I think the rain, the slowness of it, and things like that, I think are what people are talking about. But the
Yeah.
technology that they use to help the people who are there live, was obviously driven by our industry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of Panasonic. That's
Yeah, I mean they've got a contract there. We'll talk about some of those things as the Olympics closes. We're allowed to talk about more than what we can when it's open because a lot of the brands aren't allowed to say what they did exactly. But one thing I can tell you about is at the end of this month, I'll be in Scottsdale, Arizona at the InVision 2024 show. This is a kind of a unique opportunity, and it's been a while since I've done a session like this, Steph. This session is going to be specifically about how to sell AV gear to the AV industry, to AV people who are interested in buying AV gear, because a lot of times they don't even really know about our industry. Our end users don't really understand what
yeah.
we do. So this is targeted at what InVision wants to draw is they want to draw salespeople who've been in the industry less than 3 years. So this is put on by TD Cinex. The link is there. If you scan the QR code or you're watching this on social, you'll see the link being dropped now. If you want to register and you want to go to this is again targeted at people who are doing sales in our industry that have been in the industry less than 3 years and really don't understand the intricacies and the uniqueness and the weirdness, quite honestly, about selling to people who buy AV. And as you know, Steph, I ran very large sales departments for Extron and AMX for many years, and I've also
Oh yeah.
consulted for a number of integrators over the last 20 years on their sales processes. So I'm excited to be able to do this. It's been a while since I've done a sales session. So if you're interested in signing up, yeah, check it out. Go ahead and scan that QR code. Again, it's the end of the month, the last week of August, and you can see the whole agenda there when you go to the InVision website.
We also I've loaded the teaser in if you want me to play the teaser.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and roll that.
So this event, InVision is what we call it. It's the InVision Solution Symposium. Number one, it's a little different in that while we will have 38 vendors there, we have challenged those vendors to really focus on the application of their products in a solution setting. So at the vertical market level, beyond the box is kind of the guidance that we've given them. Lots and lots of different brands, but it's really just about educating our partners. And really, when I say partners, we're very prescriptive about the type of attendee that we're looking for. We are looking for sellers. So sales reps within our integrator partners. We are asking that they, be early in their career, but maybe not so early, right? So I think last year was our inaugural year, and we literally had sales reps that it was their first week on the job, all the way up to people that have been in the industry for 30 years. And so we're looking for, somewhere in the middle of that, and just really focused on education. And this came directly from feedback from our partners on things that they needed from us as a partner to them.
Hey, and both of us will be at CEDIA in the first week of September. Steph, I know you're really looking forward to that.
I am really excited about that. I'm actually really excited about the keynote that's going to be at CEDIA this year. So it was announced, I think, last week or maybe even this week. I don't know if they're all running together, but it's Barry Sonnenfeld, who is actually a well-known director in the movie space. So some of his work is so he was the director of photography on When Harry Met Sally, which is just one of those movies that is just you know it, you love it. It's just soul food, because it's just one of those movies that you've just always known. That he's also directed the Addams Family, the 90s one, and I think and he also worked on the TV series Pushing Daisies, which is just one of those TV shows that's gotten a cult following. And he got an Emmy for outstanding directing in a comedy series for that show. So I'm really excited to hear him.
Good job with, they always do a good job with keynote speakers at CEDIA Expo. They get popular figures, kind of public figures.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to covering that show because it's just a bunch of like, home toys, things that you really wish you could put in your house. And
We're shopping at that show.
it's
So like, yeah, we're
populated.
covering as news, but we're also like, ooh, how do I get that in my house?
Yeah, and what's cool about it is that the people that are walking around that show are doing the work, right? They're the ones putting in smart homes and home theaters, and there's if you go to a show like that, you know what the difference is when they use the term home cinema versus home theater, right? And what's interesting is a lot of these integrators are getting into the commercial space. So at the same time, we have the CIX show being co-located with CEDIA Expo. It is light commercial trade show. It's sort of a show for people that are doing, if you're in residential doing light commercial, or if you are doing, bars and restaurants and doctor's office, dentist office, the commercial that's not the super custom stuff. There's going to be that section of the show is going to grow this year over last year, and I think over every year it'll get a little bit larger, unique little space there. Hey, by the way, Steph, I don't want to forget this. Okay. I just sent you a story about Enterprise Connect AI, that new show, that new AI show that the Enterprise Connect people are putting on. I wrote that story about their keynote. If you're interested in seeing that, you should check that out sometime during the day today. Okay. I'm curious because your demographic seems to be using AI a lot more than my demographic. Like we're slower adopters. And I'm wondering, like, how often do you use AI during a typical day?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah, or your friends or your coworkers, things like that. I mean, is it something that you're using a lot of? I know that you, as an editor, you don't rely on anything like that.
No, I don't. Yeah, so I probably use it like less often maybe than the average one of my friends, just because in my line of work, like I'm not going to use ChatGPT to edit something for me, but I do use it if I need help to gather my thoughts before I write something. I'm like, hey, here's something I'm writing. Here are the points I want to make. Like, can you help me organize this? How should I organize this in an outline? Yeah. So I'll have it like help me organize it into an outline, or I will occasionally have it write the poll questions for like an event that we do. Okay. Like I'll be like, okay, can you write me like 10 of these, and I'll use it. But sometimes I just ask it questions like for advice. I'll be like, hey, here's what I need to do at the DMV. Like, what documents do I need to bring? And then I'll have it tell me that kind of stuff. So I just ask it for like advice on like processes like that too.
Well, yesterday I was using it. I was just taking pictures of plants in my yard and asking ChatGPT what they were and how to water them and what, how well they grew in this particular area and things like that. It's crazy that it can recognize stuff like that and give you data like that. But yeah, that's a show that's coming up. Our industry obviously is using AI in lots of different ways, everything from this auto tracking, auto framing functionality inside cameras. But also you're going to see a lot more AI. And I was talking to my friend, Mark Peterson, who's thinking about this as well. And he's got some ideas on AI. We're going to come together and put something together and maybe do a launch event around that. But there's one other live event I want to talk about, because at the end of the session today, we'll talk about our virtual stuff that we're going to do. But there's one other live thing that we just posted a story on. That is the Jetbuilt User Summit. As you may know, Jetbuilt is one of those companies that has put together a platform specifically designed around making integrators' lives easier by providing a custom quoting system that can be scalable to your company, but also a CMS. Also has all the manufacturer's products in it, so you can build systems with it. They're having their own users conference, user summit. I can't remember how many years they've done this, but they've done it for a few years. It's in Boston this year. I can't remember the dates, Steph. Do you remember the dates? I think it's coming up this fall.
For the user summit?
Yeah. I don't remember the dates.
It's October 24th and 25th.
There you go. So if you're interested in signing up for that, you can scan the QR code. We have information on that. And we got these three amazing sponsors, so we need to at least shout out one of them, right, Aver?
Yeah. Yeah, so Aver actually attended Infocom Asia, which was mid-July, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Like, a whole Infocom that takes place in America, and then like a month later, a whole other one that takes place
I
in
don't know how
Asia.
they do
Like,
it.
don't know how they do it over there. But Aver just wanted us to show you a little bit of how Infocom Asia went for them, and they have this sizzle reel. So we're gonna let you guys check that out, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. And guess what, everybody? It is the beginning of August, so that means the August 2024 temperature check is out. So this is a survey. We conduct it every month based on a different facet of AV. And since, as Gary and I were saying, CEDIA Expo and CIX are right around the corner, we wanted to focus on resi-mercial technology this month. We want to know if you are specifying resi-mercial technology, if that is something that is important to you. Do you care about it? Are you seeing any challenges with speccing it? These are the kind of things that we want to know. So please scan the QR code, go and answer it. It's also on ravepubs.com. And as always, we are picking 2 people who answer the poll to win $50 Amazon gift cards. So you could just win $50 for like 2 minutes of your time. So we would appreciate it if you answer.
And that's powered by Peerless AV. So check out and support Peerless AV for doing that. Big story.
Also, ADI is our other sponsor for the temp check.
ADI too. That's right. ADI and Peerless AV. Okay, so big news came out yesterday. Kramer bought ZV. I think this surprised everyone, but I think that the strategy here is ZV's really big in the 10 gig AV over IP space, and Kramer has done mostly 1 gig AV over IP. So it gives them instantly access to 10 gig, which in particular, ZV's case, they're using SDVOE Alliance 10 gig AV over IP. So that's why they did it, Steph. They're looking to get into the 10 gig space. The 10 gig space is primarily dominated by government applications right now. And I think that probably helps them there. And ZV, far as I know, I could be wrong on this, but ZV makes their stuff in the US, which would allow them to put their stuff into US government applications as long as Kramer doesn't move that production to China where they make their other AV over IP stuff. So that'll be interesting to watch, but it's a good acquisition because it gets them in the 10 gig space. And then you got a product from Extron.
Yes. So this is Extron's, and Gary, you wrote up this story because you were like, if this is like the product, if you want to totally eliminate EDID issues from every system,
which we have in some classrooms at UNC, like it is a common thing where that handshake doesn't happen in the right order.
Yeah. So if you have all these pieces and these parts that need to communicate with each other, so every box that you plug in to a display, every camera that you plug in, like these all have to communicate somehow, and that language is EDID. So what this product is a emulator for EDID communication challenges between the source and between the display. So this just kind of makes that communication just quick, easy. They talk to each other, everything's working. So it is just supposed to make that a lot easier. I could see this being a very good end user product, because what do end users want? To plug something in and for it to just work. So I can see this product doing really, really well. Gary, did I do good? Did I cover all the points on that?
Yeah, no, it's great. It solves all the problems for EDID. Yeah, that's perfect. So Legrand last week introduced a new product line as part of their Daylight product, the Myriad reveal. So let's check this video out where they do a little reveal of it.
Okay, so Max Hub actually has a brand new interactive flat panel. This is the Export V7. It is available in a range of sizes. It's got 55, 65, 75, 86, and 92-inch options. And so this is, of course, aimed at your UCC, Unified Communication applications, and uses Max Hub's meeting OS that includes a 50 megapixel camera that uses an AI powered lens system for speaker tracking and auto framing. It also has 16 built in microphone arrays and comes with AI noise suppression as well. So if you want to check out a little bit more about that, you can scan the QR code, and the full story is on rAVe Pubs.
And speaking of UCC spaces, Omdia, which is a research company based in, I believe they're based in the UK, says that by 2028, this is kind of a question I get often, and I have no clue what the answer is, but they claim that by 2028, that the typical UCC space will be dominated in specifications by LED. That'll be the transition year that we move away from projectors and LCD and primarily putting in all-in-one LED. That's what they say is going to drive it, is the all-in-one sort of movement. And you know, the last company you just mentioned, Max Hub, along with LG, Samsung, Sony, Planar, a lot of these big companies have all-in-ones now, and they're saying by 2028 that'll be the transition year. So we'll mark that on our calendars and see if they are right. That story is on our website, the justification for it and why they think it's going to move that direction. Part of it is this 21:9 movement.
Yeah.
Form factor, but yeah, we'll see if they're right.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, HTA Technology, they improved their budget calculator. So this is the Home Technology Association. And this tool is something that helps prospective clients understand what the realistic installed cost budget actually is for their home technology projects. So instead of asking homeowners for their budget, this calculator provides a better starting point for discussions.
Actually, it's very creatively done, Steph, because here's what they did. What they did was it's not branded by any brand. It's branded by an association, which looks like an independent association, which it is. And what they do is they're encouraging integrators to say, hey, there's this online tool that you can use to kind of get an idea what this kind of stuff costs. And you answer the questions yourself. The idea behind this is it allows the integrator to not have to be the one delivering sticker shock.
Yeah.
That this stuff is not cheap. It allows the homeowner to kind of play around with the options and see, and it sort of sets a price, sort of a price metric in the customer's mind, but hey, this independent association is saying this is going to cost this much. I guess it's going to cost that much, as opposed to the integrator having to say, no, you can't just budget $10,000 for that. It's going to be $40,000 when the customer thought it was only going to be $15,000. So it's very creatively, marketing wise, this is a great idea. I have to give them kudos for doing that. But hey, the last sponsor that we have that has been supporting rAVe TV since the very beginning is Shure. And Shure's done a lot of great things with us. They've used our show to introduce a bunch of new products and new technologies. So if you'll give them a minute or so, we're going to show you how they fix poor audio.
The evolving nature of the way we work today has outpaced existing office designs, prompting companies to bring employees back to work to address communication and culture challenges. Even though mixed-mode meetings are here to stay, technology purchases are often hurried as companies settle for good enough devices which negatively impact the overall meeting experience.
Hope you received the report I sent across.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you please say that again?
Then can you check your device or rejoin?
Poor audio during meetings drives the circle of frustration. To overcome such communication challenges, employers look to bring people back to offices, but employees want flexibility. The right audio equipment can solve this, and involving key stakeholders in this decision-making process is key. It's time to break this cycle of frustration by investing in best-in-class communication and collaboration technology. This includes high-quality meeting room systems, microphones, speakers, headphones, as well as software tools that help reduce background noise, echo, and other audio issues, ensuring not only productive, but engaging and inclusive hybrid meetings for all participants. Don't let low audio quality come in the way of your performance.
Okay, so Watchfire actually launched a brand new LED display lineup. And it's called I think it's Vari display pronounced. It's VARI display. And it has two panel size options, which are 500 millimeter by 500 millimeter and 1000 millimeter by 500 millimeter. So these are tiles that are designed for super easy handling maintenance for from the front or rear, from before or after installation. So it's got multiple pixel pitch options. So it's 1.9, 2.3, 2.6, 2.9, and 3.9. And then, basically easy assembly with this automatic locking structure to enable one person to assemble the entire LED wall by themselves. And easy, corner protection and that stuff, a little bit ruggedized, just so easy shipping, and so it doesn't get clipped as you're trying to put it up there by yourself. So check it out, ravepubs.com for the full story.
And I believe it's just for indoor applications, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's indoor. Mm-hmm.
It finally became official after, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of talking about it. Panasonic sold 80% of the projector division to a company called Oryx, which is, it's not clear exactly, Panasonic Connect, it's not exactly clear what this new company is going to be called. I think what's going to end up happening is they'll probably form a new company that will market the projectors separately. Panasonic will own 20% of it. Now, people are wondering why that's the case. Panasonic has done this over and over and over in each industry that they're in. When they've sold a division, whether it be automotive, chip production, other divisions, they have kept 20%. Very smart, because at least they can, if it takes off, they get the benefit from it, and they get a little bit of control, and they also ensure that their raw component technology is in the finished product, right, by having that small percentage. So 80% of the company was sold. So that does not mean Panasonic projectors are going away. Panasonic will still handle the product line. And of course, there'll be this new company that'll come out that'll focus on that. And of course, Panasonic has primarily been successful in staging, rental, and events industry. So if you walk around Disney, you walk around other amusement parks, applications of projection mapping, things like that, you'll see a lot of Panasonic product. Less so successful in permanent installation kind of stuff, like more meeting rooms, classrooms, boardrooms, that kind of stuff. But so that happened, and so it's actually official. The story, if you want to know the intricate details, because there's an venture capitalist company involved as well, you can go to our website at ravepubs.com and check that out now. And Steph, I know we want to close with talking about, is it today, the ProAV Symposium? Is that today?
It is today. That is today. Today at 1 p.m. Eastern is our ProAV Symposium. We did it for the first time, I guess, last year around now. So we're doing it again. And it's going to be great. We have just, I think, 4 or 5 different panel discussions that we're going to host today, and they're 30 minutes each, so it's going to go by super quickly. One of those is why USB-C is the future of AV. Gary, you're going to be hosting that one. I'm going to be hosting one on KVM over IP and on demystifying that. And then another one I'm going to be hosting is on sustainability and network video distribution. So we've tried really hard to come up with topics that are new, fresh, and fun for us to talk about. So definitely come, and it is 2.5 CTS RUs. So if you need some of those as well, great, we got them. So come on and join us.
I hope that you'll attend my session. I don't know off the top of my head exactly what time my session is, but maybe you can look it up, stuff I'm talking about. But
find out.
USB-C has had a big impact on our industry, right? I mean, everything was VGA and then everything was HDMI. And now if you look at the connector of choice for the sources, a lot of sources are USB-C, because it doesn't just handle video, it handles audio, also handles control and even Ethernet and other signals across it. And so if you're interested in sort of understanding how USB works and the intricacies of it and where it's likely to go in the future, that session is definitely worth watching.
It is at 3:25 today.
Very good.
Eastern.
3:25 today. So at least, even if you don't join any of the other sessions, at least consider joining that one because it's having such a big impact. Go register now. You can register by scanning that QR code. Or, of course, if you're on your browser right now, just go to lavnch.com. You'll find the ProAV Symposium right there on the homepage. Go check it out and register for it. And even if you can't attend live, it gives you access to the archive content. So it's worth signing up if you don't already have an account in Launch. And those of you who already have an account in Launch, you can just join whenever you want. And you'll also get notified when the archival content is available. So
yep. But if you want the CTS renewal units, you have to join live and you have to join for the whole event. So
if you want the full amount, full. Okay, good.
So if you want
that's a lot of CTSRUs.
Come to the whole thing, and it's going to be great. We're really looking forward to it. And then another one that we're doing is AV meets security. So like where that line is between AV and security right now, because they're starting to merge, but like kind of not really. So we're going to explore that in the market too. It's going to be a ton of great discussions, and we hope to see.
What time is that one?
That is the first one of the day. So that one is at 1:05 p.m.
All right. So join at 1 o'clock. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Steph, it was great doing this today. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Of course, you can see all of our content at ravepubs.com, and you can see all of these shows archived at ravepubs.com. Just click on the Rave TV link at the top. And if you're going to be at any of these shows that we've been talking about, stop us and say hello.
Yeah, please do. We love when you guys do that. So, yeah, thank you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.
It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.